The Trump administration asked the Supreme Court to allow new limits on mail-in ballots. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Tuesday, July 28th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. President Donald Trump has long made false claims that voting by mail is rife with fraud. He has blamed it in part for his loss to Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election, despite a lack of evidence. Just last night, during a speech at a General Motors facility in Michigan, he once again railed against mail-in voting.
And hopefully there will be no mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt, except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel. If you're in the military, you're far away, absolutely. If you have to go someplace, absolutely. But mail-in ballots have proven to be a disaster. We're the only country in the world.
Yesterday, the Trump administration asked the Supreme Court to clear the way for a sweeping executive order he signed in March. That would place major new restrictions on mail-in voting for November's midterm elections, and it has been held up by lower courts. The order would require states to create lists of eligible voters and prohibit the Postal Service from sending mail-in ballots to anyone not on the lists. Nearly 24 states and D.C. sued the administration over the order, arguing that its true goal is voter suppression. Senator Lindsey Graham's death has left President Trump reflecting on his own mortality. That's number 2. Trump did not expect Lindsey Graham to die first. At 71, the South Carolina Republican was nearly a decade younger than the president. He had remained an energetic presence in D.C. and around the world until the end. So his sudden death this month rattled the president. That's according to Trump's public remarks and 2 people familiar with his private comments. In the days that followed Graham's death, Trump returned repeatedly to the loss, publicly marveling at how someone so active could be gone. Privately, he has wondered whether the senator's travel schedule contributed to his death. Graham had been highly visible and actively campaigning before he died, adding to the shock for Trump and other administration officials. Trump is scheduled to deliver a eulogy for Graham this afternoon at Washington National Cathedral. Number 3. Anthony Fauci's personal diary reveals his thoughts on Trump and the pandemic response. This weekend, Senator Rand Paul released more than 1,000 pages of diary entries from Fauci during the coronavirus pandemic's most critical months. Paul has called Fauci to testify on the pandemic's origins before a Senate committee tomorrow. Paul has maintained for years that Fauci helped cover up the possibility that the coronavirus leaked from a lab. That's a claim that Fauci denies. His diary entries echo that position, dismissing the lab leak theory as a typical conspiracy theory in one entry. He also reflects on the strangeness of his sudden global fame. Perhaps most revealing, though, are the entries on Fauci's dealings with Trump. Fauci spent part of the first year of the pandemic working with Trump and trying to counteract the president's comments downplaying the outbreak, a challenge he detailed in many journal entries. He wrote about growing tired of Trump's, quote, rambling, and detailed an expletive-laden phone call he received from Trump in November 2020. You can find a link to all the key diary entries in today's 7 newsletter. Number 4. Russia is cracking down on anti-war dissent ahead of upcoming elections. Russia's parliamentary elections are this September, but some candidates who have expressed opposition to the war in Ukraine have been barred from running by the Russian government. That includes Russia's most prominent anti-war politician, Boris Nadezhdin, who sought to run as an independent. Candidates with the liberal-leading Yabloko Party have also been blocked from federal and regional elections. That's because of accusations they displayed what the government considers extremist symbols, such as posting photos online of the late opposition leader Alexei Navalny. This crackdown could help the ruling party that controls parliament and has long backed Russian President Vladimir Putin. The elections come just as the government is under increasing pressure over Ukraine's relentless drone strikes and the war's growing toll on the Russian economy. And polling this month has shown a decline in Putin's approval ratings. Schools are getting pepper-spraying drones to help combat active shooters. That's our fifth story. This year, schools in at least 3 states will be equipped with drones that can zoom through halls, smash windows, and reach an active shooter within 15 seconds. The drones are made by Austin-based Mithril Defense. The company's CEO said they were inspired by the massacre at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas in 2022, when law enforcement waited over an hour to enter the classroom. But critics say military equipment has no place at schools and are worried about potential accidents, like if a drone sprayed a fleeing student during an attack or a law enforcement officer by mistake. Schools across the country have embraced a range of defense technologies to fight the threat of campus shootings. But school security consultants have for years cast doubt on these kinds of high-tech solutions. They argue that low-tech measures, like locking external doors, are just as effective. Number 6. Your next stove may come with batteries included. A stove with a battery inside can charge when power is cheap and clean and send it back to the grid at peak times. There are a few options on the market right now. They are quite luxurious looking and cost around $6,000 to $7,000. That's roughly double the cost of a high-end gas or electric stove. But their makers think that price will come down and the technology will become more mainstream. A stove with a battery can be powerful too, boiling a liter of water in just 40 seconds. Plus, it has the benefit of avoiding the indoor air pollution of a gas stove. The value of storing power inside the home has risen. A future of appliances with batteries could distribute energy sources all around us, creating a cleaner, more efficient grid. And at number 7.
Today we raise our glasses, not just for happy hour, but for independence. Thank you.
A grandma fought for a bill to allow happy hour at retirement homes. 82-year-old Anita LeBrun was a regular at the semi-weekly happy hours that took place at the assisted living facility where she lives. But she had to drink 7-Up. That's because Minnesota law didn't allow the home to serve alcohol unless they had a license. The grandmother of 5 thought that was ridiculous. So LeBrun joined facility leaders and met with lawmakers to discuss changing the law. She argued that just because she and her fellow residents were older, that shouldn't mean they had fewer rights. Here she is making her case at the Minnesota State Capitol in March.
It affirms that living in assisted living doesn't mean giving up everyday pleasures or independence. Personally, I'm excited now that I can enjoy a glass of Pinot Grigio with friends during events and make these moments even more special.
Victory was hers. Earlier this month, LeBrun stood beside Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as he signed the Grandparents' Happy Hour bill. The law comes into effect on August 1st. It just goes to show you are never too old to make a difference. All right, you're all caught up. If you're enjoying the podcast, and how could you not love hearing from Anita LeBrun, leave us a nice rating or review on Apple, Spotify, or whatever platform you're listening to us on. It helps others find the show, and we will raise a glass to you. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.